Hi there. Let's take a look at another past exam question. And this one is a 9-mark question that looks at ownership structure and how it might have contributed to the success of strategic decision making. We've put the question on the top of the screen there. And as always, you might want to pause the video just to have a think about how you might unpick the demands of that question. What do you think? What's the start point? What's this question all about? Well, clearly it's about ownership structure, and our argument or arguments potentially need to get to how that might have contributed to successful strategic decision making. So our focus in terms of the wording is how it may have contributed to successful strategic decision making. Question: how many arguments do we think the examiner needs in order to meet the demands of that question? Well, I reckon that's a singular response because we're asked to analyse how, not analyse the ways. So I think one well-developed point in context would be enough for us to get to a level 3 response. You can write 2 if you wish, but 1 I reckon is enough. Now, as always with the 9-mark questions, in this case paper 2, the answers are really in the case study. So you need to draw out the key features that are given to you in the 3 or 4 paragraphs, short paragraphs of text, and occasionally some tables or table of data too. So in this case, we're looking at a business called Bell Limited. We're told it's a privately owned company where the family members not only own all the shares, but they're also involved in day-to-day management of the business. We're also told some important information which we can use in our argument, which is that they prefer to take a long-term approach to strategy, but also that that's been successful. Partly as a consequence of lots of investment in new product development, they have been able to increase their market share over many years. A successful private company. And we can use that information as we develop our argument, our response to the question. Okay, well, I've had a go at doing it. So again, you might want to pause the video and have a go yourself, maybe even just plan the paragraph out rather than writing the whole thing. And then if you want to, join with me now as we have a look at my effort. I'm not saying it's perfect, but my effort to try to get to a level 3 response to get somewhere between 7 and 9 marks. Well, we use our classic technique. We state our point before we get anywhere near application or analysis. So the fact that the family own 100% of the share capital of Bell has enabled them to take a long-term approach to strategic decision making and therefore contribute to its success. So we're going to focus on the fact that they own the business in full and therefore able to take this long-term approach. That's our point. No need for any application at that stage. What we then need to do is develop an argument that explains how and why in context. So let's read through. By being both shareholders and managers of the business, the Bell family are closely involved in the day-to-day operation of the business and are also well placed to assess the opportunities and threats as the sweets, snacks and drinks market changes. As a result, so developing a line of analysis, they may have been able to take calculated risks by investing in new product development, such as launching new, healthier confectionery and drinks. This is because, so further analysis, they are accountable only to themselves as owners, with no other shareholders to consult, and therefore they can afford to take a long-term view of investment returns. Consequently, this freedom of long-term decision-making has contributed to higher market share for Bell, suggesting their strategy has been successful. And I think that argument explains how and why, in context, ownership of Bell has contributed to a successful, no doubt about it, a successful strategy. What do you think? Let's just quickly highlight in there some of the application. Don't forget we said you start with the point, no application or analysis in the point, first full stop. That's it. That's the point you're going to develop. Thereafter, try to include some application, 2 or 3 elements of application, either by drawing on the situation of the business from the case study, or perhaps by sprinkling some such as seasoning, one of our favourite techniques, into the response, just to help contextualise the argument. So we've drawn from the case study several times. We've talked about how they are both shareholders and managers, how they are closely involved in day-to-day decision making, how the market is changing, sweets, snacks and drinks. We've done a such as seasoning by mentioning healthier confectionery and drinks. And also we've referred to the case study, how it told us that they had increased market share. So try to make sure that in your paragraph or paragraphs, if it's a plural response to other questions, try to make sure that you get at least 2 or 3 elements of context from the situation or the case study into your paragraph. There we go. I reckon that's a level 3 response. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you're looking at this on YouTube. But anyway, I hope you found it useful.